Welcome to This is Living. I'm Julie Landy, your host, and I'm so excited to have our guest coming with us all the way from Anchorage, Alaska today. This series was put together, a show really has been named because we are bringing guests from all over the globe, women who are making
Mhm,
a difference in the lives of other men and women all over the world who
mhm.
had a passion. They turned it into a profitable business. And it's exciting to see that happen. But the topic we're covering today is a topic that is near and dear to many of the women's hearts, myself included, and that's the topic of wellness. And we have had many guests on here talking about that very thing because really, without our health and wellness, how can we possibly live at that higher level, which is what this show is all about. Living is not necessarily a destination, but it's actually a way of living, an elevated way of thinking, an elevated way of believing, and an elevated way of actually showing up and living. And so that's not possible, or I suppose it's is possible, but it's more limited if you don't feel great. And we're not limiting wellness even to a physical aspect. We are looking into the mental, the spiritual, and the psychological elements of wellness. So I'm so happy, as I said, to have my guest with me today, Nika Wood, who is coming to us all the way from Alaska. Nika, can you say hello?
Hello. Good morning. I'm so grateful that I'm here, Julie. I'm excited. And just a little bit about me. I live in Anchorage, Alaska, where still morning, early morning today, but I am Japanese, and you might hear, my accent. That's where it's coming from. And I just wanted to introduce a little bit about how I got here today. And because of the culture in Japan, that I grown up suppressing my emotions. That's what actually honorable things to do in Japanese culture. And so I learned it so well. It was part of my coping skill to get through the any waves of life and going get going ahead. And after I was married, I was grateful, but having a whole family, two of them we adopted, and a lot of commotions, and my father's passing, my brother's passing, my mother's illness. And one day I was so stuck, and I lost who I was. I was just going too busy, I think, in my life. And that's when I came to actually live your vision, Julie's amazing coaching group with the coaches and communities. I went through so much to rediscover myself. And in that, actually, this was like one of the paint I did during that time.
Mhm.
But in that, I realized how much of the art and creativity was in my life. That's where I expressed myself, but not be able to express in words or other ways. But that's how much I was gaining to have my center, I think. So I started to study art therapy um, classes and became a practitioner. I'm not a therapist, but I am a practitioner, and I apply for myself, and I use for helping others through my business, and I'm so excited.
So exciting to have you with us, and I love this innovative, creative way of expression. And Nika refers to the fact that her Japanese culture actually was limiting in her ability. It didn't facilitate expression of emotion. However, I don't think Nika's alone. I don't think that's just the Japanese culture. I don't think it's just the Asian culture. I think there are a lot of us that have culturally grown up not being able to and not being encouraged to express our emotions. And so it is, the problem with that is, of course, there are many things, but one of the things that I've seen is that if we don't learn how to express ourselves, it manifests in a lot of other issues, whether
Yeah,
it's physical illness, mental illness, certainly relational illnesses,
yeah.
and psychological, of course, and even spiritual illnesses. And so, Nika, we're so happy that you're here. Nika has now been teaching these classes for quite some time. We're going to talk more about those in a minute and how to really unlock literally unlock your life is what she calls them, but, unlock the deeper parts of us that sometimes words can't even touch, even if you have the ability to communicate them.
Mhm.
But Nika, in your, what is one thing that you would really recommend? And we're just going to go for the jugular here. What is one thing you recommend that people, in order to get better in their ability to unlock their emotions, that they stop doing?
Definitely value what you just said. Don't ignore your
Oh,
emotional need.
hello. Yeah, obviously, right? Well, I know. Thank you for stating the obvious, because isn't that what we all have been trained to do?
Hmm. Very much
Exactly.
so.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, okay, so on the flip side, then, if we should stop ignoring our emotional needs, then what is one thing we should start doing to
Mhm.
cultivate healthy emotional needs?
Yes. So first, thank you for asking that because first, it may be obvious issue, but then do you really take a time? Like, we exercise for your physical, fitness and eat healthy and maybe we do that, but we don't really pay attention or take time to dig into what you're really feeling until
Mhm.
your whole body started to telling you
Right.
screaming the pain and a lot of headaches come from that or even you feel so isolated suddenly and there are so underneath of yourself the daily life that if you don't take time and take care of it it comes out in painful way.
Mhm. I appreciate that. So, two very simple and practical things. Stop ignoring your emotions and start paying attention to them in a
Yeah.
careful, considerate way. And I really do appreciate that. So, in terms of a wellness tip, in term unlocking your emotions, what is something that you would recommend if they had, not just to stop or start doing, but an actual tip or strategy that they could practice?
Yes. So, what I practice and then teach is that using a magic of art,
Mhm.
creativity. Scientifically, it's proven that when you do activity of artistic process, your brain become or brain will give the pathway to connect to your emotions.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
unrecognized emotions can draw out by doing artistic activities. So that make that time, and I can offer personal lessons, or there will be online self-paced lessons in the future. But you need to take time to sit down and do some of those artistic lessons. And then
Mm.
you realize how much of that hidden emotions or unnoticed emotions that you've been piling up to, which started to be clear. And
Wow.
in your lesson, you're always telling us clarity. When it's clear, you feel more confident. So when
Yes.
your emotions are clear, you know what you're dealing with, and you can go on with your life with a lot of resolution come
Mm.
with.
That's so great. Oh my gosh, this is so helpful. Here I am sitting here thinking to myself, oh my gosh, what unrealized emotion lurks below the surface within
Mhm.
me? Just because we all move at such a fast pace. And I would consider myself actually a pretty good student of myself in that I,
Mhm.
do take time to reflect. I do take time to process emotions through journaling and writing and having good conversations and prayer and different practices that I know about. But honestly, I can say that even this conversation is taking me to a new understanding. I have done Nika's classes and several of
Mhm.
them, as a matter of fact. And every time I do a session with Nika, I realize something that I didn't realize before. And
Mhm.
so, to your point, thank you for connecting the dots. I didn't realize that research also supported that actually, um, you know, unrealized emotions can be drawn out through the process of creativity.
Mhm.
And it's very powerful when we do
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So one wellness tip is to institute the practice of creativity. in order to draw out unrealized emotions. I love it. So practical, so powerful. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to switch gears a little bit, but what is one pet peeve? And this is an American term. So, one annoying thing, if you will, about your what is something that really annoys you when you,
Mhm.
as a practitioner of wellness in the area of art therapy?
Yes. Well, definitely I hear a lot. It's but I am not artist. And I
Oh.
don't do that. I am not good at it. And I always say, well, we all did it when we were young. So we have to
Mhm.
get back to the roots of of who we were made of, that be like a child and
Mhm.
put it, pick up the brush. I had one group session, the lady was saying that I'm not artist, I don't know how to do this. But once she said that once she's done it, put down the paintbrush with paint, it just went all itself. Because
Yeah.
my classes are not just like, okay, do it. It's more that guidance or in the beginning studies and learn. And some classes I have meditation to provide the time to visualize what you like to pain, what's coming in your mind. And so this is more of a processing instead of creation of the masterpiece of the art.
Oh, I love that. It is so funny just to hear you say that, well, one pet peeve is when people say to you, "But I'm not an artist." I think so many of us, like you said, we forget as children we were creating all day long. We were making, our scarves were becoming royal robes, our boxes were
Yeah.
becoming aircrafts, our, we were making pictures in the mud puddles and in the sandboxes. We forget that part of ourselves. And I think sometimes that also gets sidelined, besides being squashed in our ever-present desire to be responsible and survive. It
Mhm.
also gets sidelined in that it's not that valuable, wouldn't you say? I mean, the next question I was going to talk to you about is a misperception or a myth about your industry. And I know you and I talked a little bit offline, but that one was one of the ones that we discussed, that childlike play is not important, not worth it, right? So you tell me, I don't want to put words in your mouth, although I just did, but what are some misconceptions or myths that, about art therapy that people might hold and that
Yeah.
hold them back?
Yeah, I think we all living fast paced, and people thinks I don't think I need it.
Yeah.
People think I have no time. I'm doing okay because that's like a first red sign to me that we are so um I guess not seeing what's inside of you is the drive for doing something new or different. But bottom line that you have to really dig into deeper in order to uh, succeed, or in order to have a full life and with the joyful life. Because we all know that emotionally, if you are suppressing so much, that your whole body started to dysfunction and
Yeah.
your mind become less functioning,
Yeah.
and which means the whole optimal life becomes less than what you can be in
Mhm.
your life. So definitely, um you know just catch that as a red sign for you if you feel like, but I don't need any
Yeah.
help about my emotional health.
Wow, that's great. I really thank you for that, because I just think we live an oblivious life sometimes. We're numb and dull in the pace of life, and I just thank you for that. When people say, "I don't need it," you would ask them to reconsider. It's not even whether you're aware of the need or not. It's just that you're right, the body does tell the tale, right? As we've heard.
Mm,
And, headaches, illnesses of other kinds physically, certainly, as you said, suboptimal thinking, being worrisome or split-minded does not
mhm,
lend itself to a full life. And
mhm,
if you're interested in living a full life, I definitely, encourage you also to institute the practices that Nika is sharing not only if you have some challenging trauma or pain or situation you want to work through. I know that many have used it for that, but also
Mhm.
those of us who are goal setters that are in that station of life where we want to really go for it. We've created with Nika the tree of life with the tree and our living vision on the tree,
Yeah.
painted it out and put branches and leaves and roots and fruit on it. And it's been exceptionally fun. I think there are many of us that not only have had fun, but feel very inspired and have them hanging on our, it's fun. We have them
Mhm.
hanging on our walls to remind us every day of what we have set before us. And so whether you're healing, recovering, or just wanting to remain well and optimally functioning, or you have some big goals, I have been so impressed with what art therapy and Nika's particular version of soul art to heal has done to unlock and to facilitate greater ways of living. So that's why Nika is on our show, because she is an example of living. She does help people elevate the way they think, they believe, they feel, and they show up. And that's what we're looking for. Who are those people that do that? And Nika's clearly one of the huge contributor to our communities in that area. So
Oh,
let me ask you this. Let's share a couple experiences, if you don't mind, maybe one of your own and
mhm.
someone else that that was really had quite had a transformation or an evolution as a result of the art therapy.
Oh, thank you. Well, I have my biggest fun mother and daughter come to our in-person class in Anchorage. That actually daughter is going through some cancer therapies, but
Wow.
wow, they can come in always and leave my class with how the way their body expressing themselves changed, and they have practicing at home, and actually that they're saying that treatment is being amazingly effective, and then they believe they keep
Wow.
want to doing art therapy because it is amazing how much that process of brain and your mind started to become stronger and endure um, more the challenges, and it proven that even started to think differently by doing more that release of the emotions,
Mhm.
and also myself. um,
So can I
I
just
did
pause you
this.
before you go to yourself, the story of
Yes,
yourself? And I really want to hear that. But
yes,
did I hear that correctly? That this woman is going through cancer therapy, and the daughter is with the
order.
mom. And the
Mhm.
mother and daughter come together. The daughter is going through cancer therapy, and she's feeling better. I don't know,
Yeah,
even physically as well.
yes, it's like there's a situation that she cannot really remove that cancer in
Oh,
her
okay,
brain, but they are doing a treatment, and their goal is to retain the same volume, but it
okay.
started to shrink. And we
Wow.
are like, what? That's
Oh my gosh,
amazing.
that's miraculous, Nika. That is
Yes, yes.
incredible. Oh my
So
goodness.
you,
I'll keep praying for that young, the mom and daughter there. But wow,
yes,
your work is so powerful. That's why you're saying, please don't say you don't need it. Please don't say you
right.
don't need it. Okay, now tell us about your story because I love your story too.
Oh, my story is that, well, I lived suppressing my emotions through even
Mhm.
many years of marriage, but now my self became more free, and with my husband being next to me all the time, whenever I have like a moment of like a uncertainness or worries comes up rise up in my mind, he noticed and he's like, "Don't you need to go paint some pictures?" And I go and do it, and then I come out a little bit more refreshed and settled with my emotions, and that triggering him to really digging into himself, like having that childhood experience to be coming out and expressing and turning around himself to be much happier because of the be in touch with his emotion, with typical guy that never did talk about emotions. And so our marriage is in totally a different place. And then
Wow.
my workplace notice I'm different. And and then so on. So it's amazing how much of that is helping me.
Wow, that is incredible. How long have you been married, Nika?
It will be 26 soon.
Wow. Okay. This is so incredible, you guys. Who would know that whether it's physical therapy in terms of it making your healing happen or mental or emotional therapy, but it's also like marriage therapy for you. Who knew? Right? It's so fun. Now, I will say this. The other thing is that, Nika and I discussed this earlier, but of course, there's a gender gap when it comes to communication.
Mhm.
So I know we all have struggles in our marriage. There's no such thing as a seamless easy marriage. It's always it seems like the communication gap is always there. And then on top of that, you're married. He's American, your husband, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
And does he speak Japanese?
Very little.
Exactly. Right. So I was wondering how that adds to the complexity of your
Mm,
communication when your English is your second language and you do a beautiful job of it, by the way, but he speaks no Japanese. And then there's cultural differences that occur as well. And so now I love the synergy that's happening between the two of you that he's like, oh, okay, maybe you just go paint because he's probably recognizing his limitations and how much he can really help you. Now, that's
mhm.
with any even the couples from the same culture, I've noticed when one partner of the couple recognizes that they're limited in their ability to help the other, oh my gosh, but they are willing to help them get help, invest in themselves, do what it takes. So many things are set free. But that's a beautiful story. I love the fact that you have a brand new marriage as a result of this, or your marriage is in a very different place at 26 or 27 years. That's great.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit. We'll wrap it up here, Nika. This has been so helpful. But tell us a little bit about what you're most excited about.
Oh, okay. So I'm excited that I'm able to continue to have once a month in person class in the Anchorage area, or actually that family comes from Wasilla distance to drives, but in Alaska. And also I am launching more availability for the virtual
Oh,
situations.
great.
I'm offering a booking of the group sessions if you want to do some art, a soul art to heal lesson as a family or among friends. You can contact me to book that, or I can do personal guidance if you like. And then also, toward to the end of June, I'm going to launch that self-paced soul art to heal lessons available for you to purchase. And I'm
Wow.
excited. I'm working hard for it too.
Yeah, you are. So I'm so excited. So there are multiple ways that you can participate with if you'd like to sample or try some of Nika's work. Obviously, to all of you in the Anchorage or Alaska area, or any of you visiting Alaska, if we know it's a vacation destination these days, please contact or reach out to Nika and we'll give you that contact information and set up a time with her. Her work is incredible and she has a little studio that she works in locally. I can only imagine what fun it is to do that. I've seen photos. I haven't actually gotten to experience that. What I have also though gotten to experience is the virtual group sessions. And so those are so much fun. I actually had it for one of my classes and team members that, in our corporate team, it's also an incredible opportunity to do either a corporate team, a birthday party, a family time, whatever, to have Nika Zoom in, we'll say, and have everyone go through one of her sessions. It's really, really fun. So I highly recommend those because the group facilitation part of it is so fun because you just get to share it together. And then obviously if you have some personal needs, she works with people one-on-one to help them unlock their life and move through, any challenges and accomplish goals and those kinds of things. But I also am excited to hear about your upcoming self-paced program that people will be able to purchase these. Well, it'll take a little while before they're ready, but in the end of June, as you mentioned, that
Yes.
people will be able to purchase these classes and be able to go through it on their own at their own pace at their own time. So, wow, have you been busy, my friend? All while
Yeah.
working your full-time job and being an excellent leader over there. And I am so, so proud of you. So, where can people reach you?
So my website is soularttoheal.com.
Okay.
And My email is Nika at Nika, Nika at soularticheal.com is
Okay.
easiest way to reach me. And you can find me on the Facebook for the group Unlock Yourself, and also Soul Art to Heal. And started to build a little bit more on Instagram pages too.
Great. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, one thing, sneak peek for all you listening. She is going to be offering some of her art for sale in the upcoming days. She has
Yes.
spectacular pieces that she does. So, well, thank you everyone for joining us. That's it for This is Living. I hope this has really given you some food for thought on how you can show up and build in your life and live at a higher level, an elevated way of thinking, believing, and living as using soul art to heal, or art therapy, as we're calling it. So thank you so much, Nika. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for all of you. Please like, follow, subscribe, and tell your friends about us. We're going to be bringing more and more and more experts from around the globe to help you to live that great life that you're looking for. So thank you so much. Have a great day.